But now we're going to move on to our second bracket of open mic. And in order to do that, I'm going to handball the host seat to another dear friend and colleague, Angela Costi. Angela, where are you? I'm going to get you on.
Here I am.
Here you are. I'm going to
It's
pop you in the hot seat, but I'm just going to say to people, just in case they don't know, that Angela is the author of 5 poetry collections: Dinted Halos, Prayers for the Wicked, Honey and Salt, shortlisted for the Mary Gilmore in 2008, Lost in Mid-Verse, and and an embroidery of old maps and new. In 2021, the City of Melbourne funding supported Angela to work on a new suite of poetry entitled The Heart of the Advocate. She is also known as Ageliki Kosti among the Cypriot Greek diaspora, which is her heritage and what she often writes about. So thank you very much, Angela.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be here. I have to concur with Anne M. Carson. It's a feast of poetry, and we've had the entree, we've had the main, and now we're going to have the dessert. So here we go. I'm delighted to be doing this. It's a fantastic thing to do. I haven't emceed for ages. So without further ado, let's begin with the incredible, most of us know of this person, Dominique Heck. Dominique Heck writes across genres and disciplines, and sometimes across tongues. Her creative works include a novel, 12 books of poetry, and 5 collections of short stories, including Speculate, co-written with Eugene Bacon. The second edition of After Cage came out last year at Liquid Amber Press, another wonderful collection from Liquid Amber Press. More recently, Con Brio was placed second in the 2022 James Tate International Poetry Prize and is forthcoming with Sir Vision. That's wonderful, Dominique, and it's excellent to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much, Angela. We've met a long time ago, and it was a wonderful project. So without, I won't give any introductions. I've got 2 pieces I'd like to read. The first is a poem I wrote for an international project about Iranian women. So, Rapunzel in the wind. I open my Bachmann to check a verse, turn to Lieder der Flucht. See that the bookmark is a long black hair. The page is stained with a fingerprint where I translated in pencil. When love's golden hair hangs, you reach for it, the ladder to nothingness. Wind patterns are displaced northward and southward seasonally. Currents change speed and direction according to seasonal winds, whether one lives in the east or the west. Everybody knows that. But now that there are no more seasons, and they kill for a curl of hair showing in the name of their god of love, the dead's ashes mark books. Thank you. The second is called Centaurs. It's after an exhibition that was at the Biennale in Italy this year, which I did not attend, but I saw photographs. It's called Centaurs. And it's after Ute Isolotto, the person who created the how shall I say? It's after him. It was a multilingual and multi dial project.
Installation.
It was an installation. Thank you. Centaurs. We started where the wall broke and the river burst its banks past La Rosette. We could have called the sapeurs-pompiers, but walked the earth instead. Half swan, half goose, when clothes no longer fitted around our changing bodies. We draped horse skins around our torsos. We grow hair long and thick on our lengthening legs. Came spring, the equine skins came loose. We shed, hooves pushed through where once were feet. We teetered on their narrowness. The hair on our horse parts grew back, dappled grey and shiny. We pushed on through hills and valleys. In the mountains, we reached a deserted farmhouse with a ham still hanging from a hook in the kitchen. The shed was stacked with hay. You clucked your tongue when you discovered eggs preserved in a vat of fat at the back. I clapped eyes on mounds of potatoes, swedes and turnips, sniffed water, a well in the yard. I hoisted the bucket, tasted the water. It was good. We quenched our thirst. After lovemaking, you said, what if we are creating a species that might mean trouble? I laughed, relieved you. You hadn't lost the power of speech. We didn't think we'd end it there, but parturition changed everything. The creature came. You hanged yourself. I can't hold breath. We'll be dead a long time. Thank you.
Mesmerizing. Or as always, Dominique, your words and the way that you perform, truly mesmerizing. Thank you. Now we have Patricia Sykes, is a poet and librettist. Her collaborations with composer Lisa Lim have been performed nationally and internationally. A podcast, The Abbotsford Mysteries Song Cycle by Andrew Aronowitz, based on her Abbotsford poems, is now available. I'm very aware of Patricia Sykes' poetry for a very long time and a big fan of her collection, which was, was the Abbotsford Poems a long time ago now, published by Spinifex. Wonderful to have you here tonight, Patricia.
Thank you, Angela, very much. Yes, as Angela said, it's not a new collection, but because the podcast of the Abbotsford Mystery Song Cycle became available at the end of last year, despite COVID's success in blocking it its completion for 2 or 3 years, along with numerous creative projects, I thought it was a real opportunity to go back and read a couple of poems. The first one segues back to Ross Gillette's interests in iambic pentameter. I was at the Abbotsford Convent Orphanage with my sisters. It was the second orphanage we were at after the death of our mother, and I never thought I would ever want to go back again. But as an adult, I became fascinated by the institution itself. And I interviewed 70 ex-residents who'd been there between the years 1927 and when it closed in 1975. And I've woven their anecdotes through the collection. The collection itself is based on the Catholic Rosary. So it's 5 sections of 10. Now, the first poem, which is called Iambic Pentameter, arose out of my memory as a 12-year-old when I walked into the orphanage schoolroom one morning and saw Iambic Pentameter written up on the board. And it was like an open sesame moment. I was 12, I think. But there are about 3 or 4 anecdotes from different women in this poem. Iambic pentameter. I watch myself, how I use my voice, how much I give away. Rebellion weighs against obedience, prayer against fantasy, wrote against the thrill of words that lately arrived. It was hearing a girl recite Ode to a Cabbage that made me want to write verse myself. I hide my poems like hoarded love. The taste of secrecy is delicious. None the big iris gives the girl curry when she catches her kissing my cheek. Now, mother of the blackboard, proving with chalk that poetry has feet. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. If a thing is not prayer, why must it be sacrilege? We are children of rhythm as well as of God. I am learning body worship from a girl who walks beautifully. Where else but here could I rejoice such things? Father, Dad, are you listening? I'm your little exile, no more. You would not know me. I am metric now. My feet are my own. How you will miss me. And I want to finish with one that was set in the song cycle. It's just 10 lines. It's one of the Gloria poems. And for those who may not know, the narthex is the cross shape in the church. It's just called Gloria. Kyrie eleison. Our voices shiver above the narthex. If we could dance, our blood would warm us. Lord, oh Lord, we're hivey jive girls, rock and roll girls. We keep your picture next to Elvis. Kyrie eleison. Thank you.
Gorgeous and cheeky, Patricia. I love it. Thank you so much. Now we have someone from overseas, which is fantastic. I love introducing people from other places that I don't think I've visited. So Svongo, I hope I've pronounced the name well, and correct me if I'm wrong. Svongo,
Yes,
is that wrong
yes,
or
that's
right? Is that
correct.
okay?
Spongo,
Tell me.
Spongo. You said it
Spongo.
right. Spongo.
Okay, Spongo.
Yeah. Fair.
You right?
Okay, thank you
I'll
very
just,
much.
Yeah, can I read a little bit about you and then over to you? Yep, cool. Raised in the majestic mountains of Matopo, southwest of Zimbabwe, Sibongo is a spoken word artist who uses his poetry to tell his side of this life story. Leaving no topic unexplored, he has physically mesmerized audience in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Sierra Leone, and he has set his eyes on much bigger stages. His mixture of performance art and poetry has earned him the title of Slam Champion once in the Litfest Harare Kanyanisa Poetry Slam, and his debut book is TRIALS. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Angela. I just want to say I'm grateful to the creators of this space, and I forgot to respond to the email about the bio, so the bio is a bit outdated. Since that bio was written, I've won 5 more poetry slams from 5 different countries. I published this book, which I'm gonna read from, and at the beginning of January, I toured Europe with this same book. The poem I'm gonna read for you today is titled is titled The Rain Dance, taken from the same book, Trials. I'm 25, but I've seen a lot of our tradition disappear. Like when I was a kid, they used to, the adults in the village, they used to go do these dances where they were asking for rain from the gods of the land. And from when I was a kid up until now, I've seen that tradition totally disappear. Like that's less than 25 years of history completely erased, just like that. And I wrote this poem to try and keep it going so that the people come after us can read about it. So this is the poem.
Spongos seem to have
Yes.
frozen.
Svongo, what can we do? Maybe we will wait just one second or two, and then maybe ask Svongo to come in again into the, it has frozen completely. While we're waiting, shall we go on to another poet and hope that he returns? Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Oh, sorry. Pardon me. I'm connected to my hotspot, so someone called me. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I'll begin.
Yep.
I'll begin. We all sat around the fireplaces, the tongues of the fire seemingly taunting our hungry-looking faces. We had not left the room, no, none had the nerve, not until the ritual was over. We sat on the floor, cross-legged, frozen, waiting for the first droplet. Brown smelt of the sea, spring had come and gone, but even the trees that hung onto their leaves were grieved to hear them fall to the ground, raising tons of dust that hung above our heads like a friendly ghost come to boast. The rhythm of life got sing to the cries of the bleeding goats. We had drank their blood and ate the flesh of their kin in an effort to keep soul glued to skin. The people were quiet, but each whispered in their minds the truth unspeakable. The crusty pool that stood atop the cathedral, seemingly violating the sky, rendered her barren. Gone are the days of the rain dance when the rainmaker through the orifice of the hot springs in Binga disappeared for 7 days and came back with basket loads of harvest maize to tell of a bumper harvest, a gift from the gods of the land. If he came with his hands empty like politicians' promise of food security, the tribe knew that the drums had to beat for the people to clap and the ghosts to dance until the earth cried tears of rain. We were one with the land, more so gods of the rain. So I pray thee tell which goes to this save that let you starve. No blasphemy. Let's have none of that nonsense for the starving child whose father works the fields but the rains unfold, whose mother gathers the wood but the cat sleeps on the head, whose stomach grumbles the Lord's prayer but all the Lords are deaf. Shoulders will never carry the unpleasant to school. She bends but not a single droplet for her throat to cool. So she learns at school that the globe is getting warm, that Mother Earth never speaks, but she whispers silent cries every time a car turns into a passive smoker, taking it to cloud9. But do you know what smoke does to lungs? It to create a hole so big the sun will escape the hands of time and burn us all alive. No rain to cool us down, let alone irrigate the Garden of Eden, long lost to the hands of men. Peace, power to you. By Airtime.
Incredible. It's powerful, very powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you. And you know it all off by heart. It's fantastic. Thank you. All right. Now, a little bit closer to us is a Tasmanian poet, Kim Nolan, a national award winner. Her work has been published far and wide. She's been a featured poet at the 2021 Tasmanian Poetry Festival and at Seasonal Poets Autumn 2022. She is project director for the inaugural Poets Ode reading in southern Tasmania in late March. It's wonderful to see you here, Kim, and over to you.
Thank you, Angela. I have two pieces. One is called Daisy Chains and the other is Listening to Trees. Daisy Chains. Time pearled daily in knitted stalks, eyes opening, closing, petal white lids. These death-defying whims, sown face up to sun, cast seed in rampant fields, wheel across grass linked in wilting deaths, sprouting births that give the impression of living forever, reaching skyward for eternity. Not even one succeeds. They daze under opiate sun, trancing deliriously bared, belly-up souls, and all fall down, dreamily wishing for something more and remain in chains.
Beautiful.
Thank
Have you got a second as well, Kim, did you say? Or
yes, Listening to Trees.
Yep.
Wind scribbles through branches under the card shuffle of raven wings. Their cries pierce air in a way that doesn't take up room. Skinny leaf litter is laid with intent to deaden my steps. The trees want me to hear the squeaking friction of branch cutter limbs on widowmakers. I cock my ear. The calibration of blood pressure and cerebrospinal fluid tuning out static and in to the whispering campaign of leaves. Their message, a statement of belief. Their language, a hum that croons to the vagus. They speak only with those who are sick with the racket of motion and loud opinion. I quiet myself, make space for the astringent scent of stamens, opercula thrown aside, breeze brushing blushed tendrils, steeped in eucalyptus oil. No words, no parsing of thoughts, just lungs and recognition. In air without my noise, the wisdom of trees, has room to breathe and to be breathed. Thank you.
Beautiful. The language of leaves. Thank you so much, Kim. We have now Julie Chevalier. We'll read a poem from her third book of poetry, Empty Dresses. Empty Dresses will be published by Puncher and Watman in April. Fantastic news and congratulations.
Thank you. I moved into a new flat just at the beginning of COVID, and this poem is about my first New Year's Eve in that flat. The lines you'll recognize are from Allen Ginsberg's Howl. Rainy, stay at home, 5 visitors max. A fortune teller's neon sign that glowed a painted light into the street. That's by Bianca Stone. I saw a devil with his needlework. After seeing out the old Prosecco with fresh fruit from people delivering 7 days a week, the unexpected success of my peach tart, followed by celestial seasonings, sleepy time tea, just after dusk, I drove abandoned streets, saw a pandemic of empty pubs and supermarkets, saw the best minds of my generation addicted to airline timetables, fretting canceled holidays, canceled restaurant bookings, the supernatural darkness of cold water flats floating across the tops of cities, contemplating jazz. Cities off limits, in a new world, aged world, outliving its options. Back home, beneath apartment verandas, pavement lights bloom from cylindrical stalks. Sandstone's golden promise. An avenue of palm trees, magnolias in blossom, odes on the windows of the skull. Incandescent hope teetered on balconies, LED lights strung out, rooms pooled scarlet, violet, aqua. At 9, illegal fireworks at the corner, a starry dynamo in the machinery of night, dancing silhouettes, their brains bared, cheered to heaven from the loggias. I clapped like I had clapped alone for local medical heroes, cheered at midnight for protean miracles too personal to mention. A confetti cloud, champagne spray, cascades of summer, the pent-up, hollow-eyed, jiggled red zinger tea, angels staggering on tenement roofs, illuminated. Thank you.
That's fantastic. It definitely echoes, it's wonderful. It reminds me of obviously the Howl and Allen Ginsberg, but you've made it completely your own. It's wonderful, Julie. Love it. I'd love to read it on the page. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Roxanne Bodsworth. Now I'll just read her bio. Therese Aka Roxanne Bodsworth is a poet, celebrant and farmer who completed her PhD in 2020 at Victoria University by researching and writing feminist poetry in response to Irish mythology. She's widely published and writing keeps her sane, almost, she says. Over to Roxanne.
Emphasis on the almost, and I have to confess to having updated my bio as well because I'm experimenting with a new name too, so just using my initials as RTB on the poetry. But I've been working just recently on a collection of poems for the earthquake survivors of Turkey and Syria, which I'm self-publishing, and that will come out in the next couple of days if I can get my IT skills properly working. It's called The Book of Hours, and they're poems that I found in the stories that the survivors told. According to the Professor of Disasters and Health at University College London, while there is precedent for people surviving for many days after earthquakes, it is unusual. What is usual? Our bodies are resilient, but there is a hierarchy of needs. 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water. That is 72 hours. 3 weeks without food. That is 504 hours. Without these things, we cannot survive. In science, there are no miracles. At 201 hours, am I lucky? Lucky to be trapped in the rubble of our 6-story building for 201 hours. In these last hours, listening and more afraid than before that it would all crash down on me even more, that I was so close to rescue, but the closer I could hear their voices and the noise of their tools and machines, the more afraid I became. And I do not know the moment when they came, because the world had gone dark in my head and nothing was happening. Perhaps I was dead. Then I was alive. Then I was free. Then there was blue sky. Then there were smiling faces. Then there was fluid running into my veins. Then I was lucky. My name is Amini and I am a teacher. I am 26 years old and have a life yet to live. The freedom has not lasted long. Now I am held within stark walls with tubes and machines and masked strangers working on my body like it is a car that needs restoration. They are monitoring my kidneys. They are assessing what damage has been done to my muscles and my organs and my bones and my brain. They say I will likely have renal failure. I say I have survived an earthquake. I say I have survived being buried alive with the weight of the world above me. I say I have been found for a reason. I say I will teach again. I say I am lucky.
Wow, Roxanne, that's so empathetic. It's wonderful, compassionate, with heart. Thank you very much.
Have I got time for another one?
Oh, yes, just enough. Just enough.
Okay, this one's shorter. It's at 258 hours. I have been waiting outside her building. I believed she would come out, that my daughter would return to me. This feeling, I knew she would come back. They'd all given up, told me there was no hope, but I waited still. I knew. The forklift operator, he was still proceeding carefully, respect for the corpses not to be devoured by his machine. He lifted the bed. He saw her hand move. He saw her hand move. 258 hours. My daughter, Neslian, was returned to me. I believed she would come out. I had a feeling. I do not have that same feeling to tell me that we may yet find her children, her husband. I have no more feeling left. Now, please.
Again, gorgeous work. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Angela. Thank you.
I am now going to introduce another international poet, Jeff Cottrell. He's a poet and novelist from Toronto, Canada, who has been performing internationally since 2001. He hopes to come to Australia this fall on a book tour. And here he is.
Thank you, Angela. And I apologize for coming an hour late. Google lied to me about the time difference. So, but I'm here. So anyway, so the poem I'll do is is called Synchronicity 3. It's a little inspired by the old Police song Synchronicity 2, if you know it. In the news today, we learn which new superhero movie we must see and why it's different from the other superhero movies and how it fits in with the superhero movie universe so we can imagine ourselves as superheroes. And also we learn how much money it made this week. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, a soldier blows up a bridge and himself to stop a column of Russian tanks from advancing. In the news today, we learn which famous people said something stupid and why we must cast those stupid people out of society like lepers, and how we must erase their stupid names out of existence so we can bask in the glow of our moral purity. And also we learn what words we can't say anymore this week. Meanwhile, in Iran, a woman dies of mysterious head injuries after her arrest for refusing to wear a hijab. In the news today, we learn which celebrities are fucking which other celebrities, and which other celebrities are fucking which other celebrities, and which celebrities stopped fucking which other celebrities so they can fuck completely different other celebrities. And also we learn what dresses they're wearing this week. Meanwhile, all over the world, human intervention is sparking wildfires and pollution, but people still keep having babies. Thank you. That was called Synchronicity 3.
Fantastic. Thank you. We all can relate to that. Thanks, Jeff. And we hope to see you here one day on a book tour. Over to now, we've got True S. Dowling, a Bendigo-based poet, performer, editor and teacher. Her poems have been read, awarded or published in Australia, Ireland, UK and USA. Books include Memoirs of a Consenting Victim, 2011, and Butcher Baker, His Story Maker, 2021. Wonderful to see you again, True. Just to unmute yourself. It would be in the bottom corner of your screen.
Got it. Sorry,
Got it.
guys. I'm too busy responding to Jeff's poem. Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Angela. Really, really enjoyed the poems tonight. It's been wonderful to be slotted in at the last minute due to a cancellation. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Rose and Pauline. I'll just read one of the two poems I've got since considering the time. This is called Room to Move. This Easter, unused things breed and spill from one room to another. The nest is flocked with furniture, toys, books, memories that sit in dust, silent. It's been weeks, months, years since my boys came home. Their rooms morph into a confessional, boxed as my guilt at checking the dross or chucking the dross. The growing emptiness insinuates neglect without their man bodies to tip up chairs or cave in beds. I go from room to room. A whiff of life follows like a stray dog. I scrub carpets, reclaim surfaces, savor the way it suffocates tears. But my breath is water, clogs with the back and forth effort, the flotsam, the unforgivable decision to clean. For what? Or who for, but the flicker of return? One son's random text suggests dinner sometime. Another drops in, picks over plates, cups, a kitchen knife or two to get by. And I feel their arms easily these days, as if I am the child, thankful for the whole world strapped into this ear to heart moment.
Oh, it's wonderful and sad, and it takes us to so many places, and also the significance of objects that are no longer relevant to some members of the family, and yet, yeah, it's very. Thank you so much, True.
Thanks.
Now we've got Carolyn Massell, Kaz. She lives in Melbourne on Wurundjeri Way, Wurrung land that was never ceded. a chapbook of her poems, a Book of Hours 2017, and a collection Moorings 2019 are both published by Ginninderra Press. Recent poems are published in anthologies and journals, and she's also a participant in the spoken word community and very well known among us. It's lovely to see you here tonight, Kaz.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to read a short poem with Debbie dancing. I love thinking about dreams and dream worlds, and the book, The Innocence of Dreams, is a really important book to me. So this one's called With Debbie Dancing. I had spent the whole dream looking after 5-year-olds, wearing whatever they could scrounge to be in the play. The poor ones, sad and lean, the poor ones, sad and thin, leaned limply against me. I helped with their makeup. The show was for everyone. I jollied the kids along till they grew shouty and naughty, and I a little worn. Then I was 16, and with Debbie dancing, quick and luminous, smiling, arms outstretched. We were in the play, but we were not. It was more like colorized film. Had I not seen our peasant skirts in family photos? As I awoke, I could feel my cousin's growing distance, 64 years old, a dozen years dead. In life, often oceans away, we'd fingertip test connection, no polite conversation, straight to the heart of things.
That's gorgeous, Kaz. Thank you.
you.
Gorgeous. Very filmic and visceral as well. Thank you. I think that's the end already. Over to Rose. Thank you so much for giving me this great role. Totally enjoyed it.
Oh, you're going to be back, Angela. I'm not going to let you go now.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. That was really, really great, and thank you to all the readers. It's been a total feast, as Anne said earlier. It's just been aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky to be able to gather and to hear and to share? It's just been wonderful.